Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the New York Hockey Report. I am Joe Soccoa. Well, before we get into the bulk of this hockey report and we talk about the three local New York teams, I think it's only fitting we speak about the major piece of news out of the New York hockey area, and that is, of course, the passing of former majority owner of the New York Islanders, Charles Wang. He died on Sunday. He was 74 years old. Wang was born in Shanghai, China on August 19, 1944, and moved to Queens, New York with his family at the age of 8 years old. He graduated from Queens College with a Bachelor of Science degree in Mathematics and Physics and founded Computer Associates International, now CA Technologies, in 1976, where he was the chairman and chief executive up until 2000. He was instrumental in the development and growth of several companies in the United States and China, including Keyline TV Inc. and New Lion Inc. After New Lion Inc. merged with Jump TV Inc. in October of 2008, Wang became the chairman of the combined company. Wang and then partner Sanjay Kumar bought the Islanders in the year 2000. He bought out Kumar's share in 2004 and remained majority owner until transferring majority ownership to a group of investors led by Ledecky and Malkin in 2016. Wang spent most of his tenure working to either refurbish Nassau Coliseum or build a new arena in Uniondale, New York, before moving the Islanders to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn in 2015. The Islanders won the bid, of course, to build an arena at Belmont Park on December 20th, 2017. The proposal includes an 18,000-seat arena, a hotel, 435,000 square feet of retail space, and a 10,000-square-foot innovation center that would have developed input from the residents. Wang's ownership of the Islanders have helped him create Project Hope, an international program to develop ice hockey in China. The Islanders became the first NHL team to host an international youth hockey tournament. Wang's success in the business and sports worlds allowed him to support many charitable foundations, including the expansion of the Charles B. Wang Community Health Center in New York City, which offers primary care, women's health, pediatrics, dental, health education, and mental health services to the Chinatown and Flushing communities. So, obviously, a big, major impact Mr. Wang held on the community, and the most important thing is that he wanted the New York Islanders, a team that he grew up cherishing and then, of course, living out a dream and owning the New York Islanders, wanted so dearly to keep his team in New York. And, they went through, of course, the whole process of trying to refurbish the Coliseum and expand on that area, but unfortunately in the township itself, they voted against it, and that was the people, so you blame the people, not Charles Wang on that one, and he did everything he can. Ultimately, he left no choice, and the only option he had other than moving the team out of the area was, of course, putting them in the Barclays Center, and then Charles just decided that it was time to move on past that route. He became a minority owner with, of course, transitioning out in just a couple of years, and of course, unfortunately, he was not going to phase out that quickly. He was still going to be part of this transition period. I think he still had a couple of more years left before he was out completely, but unfortunately died on Sunday. So certainly, to start off this New York Hockey Report, it wouldn't be right if we did not honor and acknowledge the wonderful work that Charles Wang did for the community in Queens, for Long Island, for the New York Islanders. Really, the Islanders probably would not be here if it wasn't for Mr. Wang. So, truly an devoted man who put his time and efforts into building not just the hockey community in Long Island and the Islanders, but globally for the National Hockey League. So, we, of course, pass condolences to the family of Charles Wang. Moving on here in the New York Hockey Report, we're taking a look, of course, at the weekly look of the three local hockey teams and where they stand right now. Well, we are just about a month into the season, and as you would expect it, at least for two out of the three local teams, things have not been going so smoothly, but that is what happens when you are in this rebuilding process. Right now, the New Jersey Devils have played 6 games. They are 4-2-0, good for 8 points, and that's good for second in the Metropolitan Division with a goal differential of +8. The Islanders have played 7 games on the season. They are 3-4-0, good for 6 points, and they are at even in their differentials. The New York Rangers have played 8 games on the season. They are 2-5-1, good for 5 points, -9 on their goal differential. The Islanders sit in 7th overall in the wild card standing, and of course the Rangers sit in 9th. Rangers sit at the bottom of the Metropolitan Division with the Islanders ahead of them just by 1 point. So we start with the better of the 3 teams, the New Jersey Devils, who have played very good hockey as of late. But more specifically, Kyle Palmieri has been a leader on this team for the Devils, scoring at a tremendous rate and getting the job done for this Devils team, as he is close to the top. He's got 7 goals on the season. That's tied for 4th in the league. Of course, Austin Matthews leads the league in goals with 10, followed by Nathan McKinnon and David Pastrnak with 8. And then you have Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat, Gabriel Landeskog, and Kyle Palmieri of the Devils tied with 7 goals. He's off to a terrific start to the season, as are the New Jersey Devils, who just continue to battle and continue to win their games as they roll on through the season, and they're getting contributions up and down the lineup. You think with the reigning MVP and Tyler Hall, he'd be the one at the top of the leaderboard, but it's not right now. It is, of course, the play of Kyle Palmieri and where they stand right now. Their next game is going to be on Thursday, October the 25th at 7 o'clock when they welcome in the Nashville Predators. So they got a couple of days off here. 4 days off in between games. They're coming off of a loss, however, against the Philadelphia Flyers, in which they lost 5-2 in that game. Recapping that game real quickly for the Devils, it was, of course, Voracek who scored with 3 minutes to go, handing Jersey their second straight loss. And although that they have lost 2 in a row, they're still playing decent hockey. Still playing good hockey, of course. And this is what happens at this point in the season where, you're still trying to get through some things. Brian Boyle has been playing very well. He picked up his 3rd goal of the season in that game. Corey Schneider, of course, injured, not playing right now. Keith Kincaid was the goaltender in the net for the Devils, as Eddie Lack was his backup. So, for the Devils, 2 games lost in a row, but that's something, of course, every team is going to go through here early in the season, as we mentioned, and you just have to be able to weather the storm here going, after a pretty good and strong start to the season for the Devils. They were able to come back to earth a little bit, but nonetheless, a good start to the season for them. Got to give credit to Kincaid between the pipes with also the backup of Eddie Lack as they continue to roll through while Schneider is injured. Looking at their upcoming schedule, again, they'll play on Thursday, October the 25th against the Nashville Predators. That face-off 7 o'clock at The Rock. And then they will be home for a 12 o'clock start on Saturday, October the 27th against the Florida Panthers, who are in the area. And then they will conclude the month of October on Tuesday, October the 30th. They'll be visiting the Tampa Bay Lightning. That is scheduled for a 7:30 face-off. Moving on to the New York Islanders, of course, on the heels of the passing of their former majority owner. They, too, of course, having to deal with a little bit of adversity in the beginning part of this season. They're coming off of a 4-1 loss in San Jose. They're also concluding a Western Canada swing or Western Conference swing that started back on the 13th of October, in which they visited Nashville. They lost 5-2. Then on Wednesday, October the 17th, they visited the Anaheim Ducks, in which they were defeated 4-1, but a really good bounce-back win on Thursday night, the night after, on October the 18th, against the LA Kings, where they blew out the Kings 7-2 in that game. And then on Saturday, October the 20th, they fell to the San Jose Sharks 4-1. They will host at the Barclays Center on Wednesday the Florida Panthers. Of course, the Florida Panthers are in town doing the three-team swing here. They'll play the New York Rangers tomorrow night at the Garden, and then, of course, go to the Barclays Center on Wednesday for back-to-back action before they have a couple of days off and they play the Devils on Saturday. And then looking ahead for the Islanders, they'll play on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. They'll be visiting the Philadelphia Flyers. Then they will play another back-to-back, as they'll play then Sunday night, 5 o'clock, against the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina. And then they will conclude the month of October on a first game of a home-and-home against the Pittsburgh Penguins, that coming on Tuesday, October the 30th. And then they'll be back at home Thursday, November 1st, to conclude that home-and-home against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, looking at the Islanders in their last game, of course, finishing up the Western Conference swing, the West Coast swing, it was a 4-1 loss to the San Jose Sharks, in which they felt that they probably could have been better in that game, especially coming off of a 7-2 shellacking of the Kings just the night before. The lone goal in that game for the Islanders came from Brock Nelson. He picked up his second goal of the season. Robin Lehner was the man in between the pipes for the Islanders, just could not get the job done. Of course, it also goes with the team that's in front of them. Again, they're in that transition mode as well. You know, they're post-John Tavares era. They're trying to build this hockey team from the ground up, and that, of course, being Lou Lamoriello in charge, trying to get them younger, trying to gain assets for this team as they go forward. So certainly things to be worked on for the Islanders for sure, but they'll have an opportunity to maybe pick up a game against the Florida Panthers, who, of course, are struggling to start this season. So growing pains with the Islanders, growing pains a little bit, or at least trying to take some step forwards, are the New Jersey Devils, and then growing pains with the New York Rangers, who are coming off of a 4-1 loss to the Calgary Flames last night at the Garden, in which things were just not what you had hoped for, of course, from the Rangers' perspective. And again, this is just something where I think it's more about the fact that Coach Quinn is just looking for them to shoot the puck more. And unfortunately that they are not doing that in certain aspects, and they're not putting the puck in the back of the net, and a couple of guys are starting to get a little frustrated, still trying to find that first goal. Matt Zuccarello, Philip Hedl, all are playing as hard as they possibly can to get that goal into the back of the net, but things are just not meshing right now for the New York Rangers. And with that whole concept, I'm going to let you listen to what in the press conference, the post-game press conference that Coach Quinn talked about last night. And, of course, going back to that shooting mentality for the New York Rangers. And this is what Coach Quinn had to say, and this is courtesy of the New York Rangers.
A lot of good looks early on, but when it's them that gets the first one, do you feel like it gave their bench some life, or did you guys get away from it for a stretch?
Yeah, well, even in 1-0, I felt good because I thought we were doing a lot of good things. We had some great chances. You know, the wrong guy gets the puck in their slot, makes a hell of a play for their first goal, but I thought we kept coming. And, you know, the goal that I thought really deflated us was the second one. You know, I think that was their second shot of the period, 11 and a half minutes into the period. We had some good looks, some good chances, and you could just feel it on the bench, you know. I mean, you got to take advantage of your chances, and we had plenty of them. Couldn't do it, and I thought after they made it 2-0, we really lost our way a little bit, and you know they get the third one, and I thought we did a good job recollecting ourselves in between the second and third, and you saw we got the power play